Hey everybody, back again here. I'm going to be showing you how to set up remote desktop, along with changing the port in case you have multiple in the same network. So to start us off, what is remote desktop? Remote desktops allow you to be, say you're out, your computer's in Germany and you're in England right now. What it allows you to do is you can actually remote into that computer and get that same desktop, the same apps, everything that would be on that computer right where you're at. It just means you're remotely connecting to it, and it's like a remote screen and keyboard and mouse in this case. To put it simple, I said definition up there. Got that from Microsoft for you. A little details about remote desktop. It's going to be running on port 3389, unless you change that. And also, depending on how your network is set up, you either need a static IP on the computer or a reserved IP. Depending on how your network is set up, you're going to have one or the other. This is because the ports might change, or not the port, but the IP might change over time. Another thing you need to be aware of is the firewall. If you're using the default firewall by Microsoft, it will automatically accept the default port or the new port, depending if you change the port. But if you're using Norton, Symantec, Avast, or any of the ones out there that you can get, you might have to open up the port or allow the service through, so it can actually so you can remote in. This will be dependent on what your computer set up, and you might have to look at the guides on that. Just a little heads up on that before I get into turning on your remote desktop. Okay, and finally, if you want to be able to access your computer from outside, you first have to set up a port forward in your router. Sometimes that'll be your modem at the same time if you don't have multiple devices. At the very end of this, be giving you a link, and that link will show you how to set up port forwarding on the different devices that you can receive. It might not have all of them, but you can kind of get the gist of how to set that up. And then finally, you'll also need the IP of your external. Most service providers, they don't change your external IP very often, but it can happen. So you would have to go to a website like who.is, and underneath the search bar, it'll give you this IP. It'll be like 74 dot something something. It might not be 74, but it has number dot number dot number dot number. Uh, and what that will be is the IP that you would use to remote desktop in after you set up everything through your router and on your computer. And down below is just kind of an idea of what a port forward looks like. As you can see here, I set up a name of RDP, I set the type, I set TCP and UDP. Remote desktop will try TCP. If it can't work, it will go to UDP. And then you see a start port and end port. These are the ports I'm opening up for RDP that are going to my computer. And my computer is statically set to 10.0.0.3 in this case. Uh, if you don't have a lot of knowledge on this, you might need to seek a little bit more help from somebody else, but I'm just trying to give you the gist of how this is all working for you. Okay, so let's set up our remote desktop here. So turning it on, I set up a little thing here on, depending on what system you're using, Windows 7, Windows Vista, you're going to click that start button down in the bottom left corner of the default Windows. Looks like a little circle with a Windows icon. Upon clicking that, you should have a computer listed to the right. Right click on that and click properties. It'll open up a setting window that you see at the very bottom here. And then on Windows 8 or 8.1 or 10, you can click the start button or Windows key on your computer and click X at the same time, which I actually left that off on accident. Sorry about that. If you click the start button on your keyboard and hit the X at the same time, you'll pop up this little menu that'll pop up in the bottom left corner of your screen, and it'll say System on it. Another way on all the operating systems, you can click Start, the Start icon, or the Start button on your keyboard, and type in System, and it will give you this window too. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so turning on remote desktop, we're going to continue this even more. So after you get to the system window, you're going to have on the left side, device manager, remote settings, system protection, advanced system settings. So depending on your operating system, you might have a little bit different wording or a little bit less items on the left, but you should either have remote settings or advanced settings. You're going to want to click that. It'll open up the next window, which is the middle image that I have here for you. And then you'll want to click that remote tab at the very top. Upon hitting that remote tab, you should get that last view on the right side. Now you might have three dots, three selections under remote desktop on yours, or you might have two depending on your operating system. Next, after you get into remote, now we need to turn on remote desktop. So under the remote desktop section, you want to click allow remote connection on this computer. And the text may differ per version. And then finally, there's that little checkbox there that says allow connection from computers running remote remote desktop with network level authentication recommended. It just means the network is going to authenticate. You want that checked. If you're having issues, you can try unchecking and see if it fixes, but it's not always perfect on that. Now, after you set up remote desktop, your user will automatically be allowed to remote in. So the user that sets up remote desktop can automatically access the computer remotely. So that means if you go to another computer on the same network, you can automatically remote into that computer now. Now, like I said, depends on the firewall. If you have a firewall that blocks it, you might have to change that setting. But say if you want more options, if you click that select user button on the tab that we just were in, the remote tab, you'll get this new pop-up box that you see at the bottom. And then it'll allow you to click add or remove. Right now it doesn't show any users in there because I'm an administrator and it automatically has access there. Now if I click add, I can search up another user on my computer and add them in if they're not administrator. This is kind of something you might want to do if you have an Active Directory network. Just kind of an idea there. Okay, so now you have remote desktop set up. Say you have multiple computers on your network. You're going to want to change the port. Now you can either change the port locally at the computer or you can do port redirection. And I'm not going to go into port redirection here. And port redirection would be done on your router though. So instead we're going to change the port on the local machine. So to start this off, we're going to have to open up Registry Editor. Every Windows has Registry Editor on it. Now, if you have access to it, it might depend on your version of Windows. I haven't looked into all versions. I haven't had all versions, so I can't tell you if every version will allow you access to it unless you upgrade to a newer version. Last time I checked, Home does have it if you do have Home or Home Premium. So you should be able to access this on any operating system right now. So first off, you're going to click the Start or the Windows key on your keyboard or on the computer. And in the search, you're going to type regedit. It's one word, regedit. Upon seeing that, you should get one result. It should be regedit.exe, or might just say regedit. Upon seeing that, click it. You'll get this window that you see in the bottom right corner here. As you can tell, I'm located at a different spot than where you need to be. So I'm going to go to the next slide here for you. Now, what I have here is the navigation path that you need to go. So in the left panel, what you're going to do is find a local machine, then system folder, then the current control set folder, control, and all the way down to RDP-TCP folder. Once you're in that folder, at the very bottom of your registry editor window, you'll have that link shown like I have at the very bottom of this window or this video for you of the address that you're at. That means you're at the right address. Now, once you get onto that right address, you're going to need to change the port number. So in the right panel now, scroll down until you see a name of port number. Double click that port number. It'll pop up a new window box, and it'll be in hexadecimal by default usually, or should be. And then you don't want to check where the base is. You're going to click decimal, because most people don't know how to read decimal, or if they do, it's not really worth the time in this case. So it's just easier if you click decimal, and then your value data would become out to be 3389. Now, the port might differ if somebody has already changed this port. But anyways, if you don't change the port, you can change it to 3390, 3391. You want to kind of stay above 389. Ports are usually already used below it. That's the kind of reason why it's so high. Actually, I believe the ports 3391 is used too in some cases, but you're not going to have to worry about that here. I just wanted to show you how to change your port. And upon doing that, you click OK, click Exit. Now, after you change that port number, you might need to either restart your computer or you have to restart the remote desktop service. I'll say restarting the computer is easier for base users. Those that know how to change or restart the service, feel free to do so. And that's all I got for you. If you have any questions on what I just kind of showed you or did a run through here, hope that helps you kind of set up remote desktop, get the gist of what you're going to need to do or the steps that need to be taken, since I didn't cover all of them, like the firewall that might become an issue or the port forwarding that might become an issue. I didn't show that off, but I hope everything I showed you before was helpful. And then at the very bottom here, I have a link here. It's called port forwarding. That will give you multiple routers, different models, different makes, and allow you to figure out how to set up port forwarding. I believe it also shows you services on how to set that up too. So hope that helps you. Hope this was helpful, and hope to see you guys next time. Have a good one. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment or like below. If you want to keep up with all activities on the channel, click subscribe. And if you would like to watch another video, there's some videos listed down below here. And thanks for watching.